Hi, I'm State Senator John Kissel, and welcome to another edition of Senator Kissel and Friends. I am delighted to be and honored to represent the great folks in Enfield, Somers, Suffield, Windsor, Windsor Locks, East Granby, and Granby. Mrs. Taylor, that's for you. Sitting Nathaniel and Tristan, I shall be home shortly. We are winding down our 24th season of Senator Kissel and Friends, and we have a terrific program lined up with some great people, with a really incredible initiative that people in North Central Connecticut should be very proud of. So, without further ado, to my left is Susan Regan. Thank you for being on the program.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, Senator. Thank you.
To Susan's left, Bill Regan. Thank you so much for being on the program.
It's always a pleasure.
And I'm going to mess this up, I'm sure, but I'm going to give it a try. And to Bill's left, Dr. Irfan Mumawar?
Mumawar, yes.
Mumawar. Okay, thank you so much for being on the program, Doctor.
Sure. Thank you.
And, okay, so Susan.
Yes.
What's this all about? And Foxfield Farm, and it's not just farm, it's F.A.R.M. What's this all about?
Well, the F.A.R.M., obviously, that follows through with our farm, Foxfield Farm, but it stands for a Recovery Mission. And that whole objective started, I would say, probably something less than a year ago. I happened to be speaking with Sean Connolly, who is the Commissioner for Veterans Affairs. And actually on our show I interviewed him, and then afterwards, because...
And just so
yes.
everybody knows, we have... Our guests do have their own program, so why don't you just do a plug for your program?
Oh, sure. Connecticut Valley Views, and you can see us on our website at ctvalleyviews.com.
Excellent, excellent.
And I appreciate that, Senator.
You absolutely. We're plugging as many things as humanly possible in these 28 minutes. And for what it's worth, I've had many opportunities to meet the Commissioner as well, and he's a great guy. He's just a dynamo.
He is, and he's got some terrific programs going for the veterans. So after our interview, I had this thought. I'd always wanted to do something for the veterans. My husband and I have been involved with horses. I've been in the corporate world for many years, but my avocation has been with horses, and we've played polo and fox hunted, and I've taught many people to ride and trained many breeds of horses and so forth. So we are very well acclimated, I think, towards this program. And when I presented it to the Commissioner, he said, "That's a terrific idea. I'm quite familiar with it. It's been very helpful with PTSD issues for our veterans."
So essentially, what we're talking about is interactions with animals, specifically horses, for our veterans that have PTSD.
That's exactly correct. And I'm sure that Dr. Manawar can speak to that. But the fact of the matter is that he said, he gave us his approval, said it's a terrific idea. If you even want to bring a horse over to the campus here in Rocky Hill, you can do so. I said, fine. So from there, I thought, well, this is good. We've got his okay. So we started to move ahead. We made it a formal foundation. We're now a 501c3.
Excellent.
And as a matter of fact, we have been approved by GuideStar, which is one of the ones that monitors foundations and organizations such as ours. And then we went on, and I happened to be an ambassador for St. Francis Hospital as well, which is a liaison between the business community and the public and the hospitals. So I had heard that they were doing something in this general area, contacted a Dr. Robert Krug, and he had just been appointed by the Quinnipiac University to be the head director over this entire PTSD program, which also includes art and therapy dogs. And he said, your timing's terrific, so we are now partnered with them. And in addition to that, we are also combining this with a rescue of horses that need to be rehabilitated, so that we will have horses that will be helping the vets, and the vets helping the horses, and then we will be rehoming those horses.
So multiple great things are happening with this program in its conception. And later on, about halfway through the program, we'll have a little bit of a slideshow, because we had an opportunity to go out to the farm, to tour it, to see the horses, and really, really impressive first steps going on here. Doctor, I want to jump to you at this time now. How did you fit into this mix, and what do you see as far as achieving some of these medical goals?
Thank you, Dr. Senator Kissel, and this is actually a very excellent initiative which Susan and Bill has brought to us, and we are very very honored to be part of that program. So what it's going to entail is, let me kind of go backward a little bit. We already have an affiliation with Veterans Affairs, and we already are treating many patients who are referred by the VA hospital. Most of the work which we are doing right now as a part of that affiliation is related to helping out veterans suffering from depression, anxiety, PTSD, alcohol dependence, and many other similar issues, however, mainly in the inpatient areas. Outpatient area and expanding in that section of the treatment is something going to be new for us as well. Not that we don't treat PTSD. We are actively treating PTSD, children, adolescents, male, female, adults.
So our audience, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, in case I always try to define all the terms, because sometimes we forget that people might not know what that stands for. Sort of official role in the hospital.
Sure. I'm the chairman for the Department of Psychiatry at St. Francis Hospital Medical Staff and Clinical. I will be actively involved, not only providing the administrative support, which Bill and Susan's program needs. However, the second phase may be have some other extra component. For example, they can't sleep properly at night. They may have an associated high level of depression or some other challenges going on. So this is where phase or second part of the treatment involves the psychotherapy. And this is where which my team will be providing as those veteran patients will be involved. That is where therapy with horses comes in.